Watch the ride.
Hey everybody, so yes, polite vests, let's talk about them. If you don't know what this is, it is advised that motorcyclists, particularly in cities and things, can wear a high-vis to make themselves more obvious to other road users. There is a high-vis available, which is used by many riders in some cases, which has the word polite written on the back. Now, there is the insinuation by many that that is an intention to try and look a bit like a policeman from a distance. When I first saw these vests many years ago, the first time I saw one was on horse riders, and I believe it started with them. And if that was the intention, which I can only see it being the intention, because otherwise you just use a different, just a plain high-vis or something with something else on it. Polite, it's not really helpful, is it? You might as well say, please slow down, please pass wide, something like that, Do you like my ass? If someone's like riding a donkey thing. So maybe it was done for their own safety to start with, but then it seems like bikes started picking up on it. There is a very strong stigma in the biking community about using a polite vest. If you use one and you post a picture of yourself somewhere, you're liable to get called a knob by a lot of people. Okay, it may only be the particularly vocal few, and it may have become kind of like almost like a meme to have a go at someone who wears a polite vest. I mean, does it really matter that much? No. Does it actually class as impersonating a policeman? Well, no, because it doesn't say police on it. However, there have been examples, or an example, of someone who was convicted and then acquitted of basically impersonating a police officer by wearing one. But there was a difference. He was on an ex-police bike that he'd purchased. I believe he was wearing dark clothes and a white helmet, and that he really looked the part. Now, for him, that was actually quite a terrible thing for his life. That conviction and then acquittal ended up with him basically losing his house, losing his job. All sorts of things happened to him because of that, and he was acquitted, so he was found not guilty. That's not good. I don't think wearing a polite vest should ruin your entire life. But as I say, it's because he was riding with that and everything else, If you just wear a red jacket, that doesn't mean you look like one of the Queen's Guards. But if you wear the full get-up, then yeah, you're starting to look a lot like the Queen's, you know what I mean? And also that these polite vests, they range. You have some that just look like a general workman's high-vis, and it just has a very block, like impact font in black, polite. Other ones, they're a bit more elaborate. Some have got checkering and stuff on them. I've even seen some that are a bit more sort of built. They look like they might be sort of back protectors of some sort, and they start to look a bit like vests. It's pretty obvious what the intention is of them. And as I say, does it really matter? I don't really care if someone uses a polite vest. I can see far enough. But it does annoy a lot of people, and it's definitely known by the people that use them. I personally have experienced being in a motorcycle cafe, seeing two polite vest wearing chaps drive in. Everyone stared at them. They got off their bikes very sheepishly, took off just, and this is the middle of summer if I remember rightly, just their high-vis vests with the polite written on it, put it in their top box. I think they might come in a set, I don't know, and then carried on with their day. And then when they left, they didn't stick them back on. They knew what people thought of them for using them. So is it worth pissing off a load of people to use a polite vest over a normal high-vis? That's your decision. With me, I don't care. But I think if I had the option between a plain high-vis, which has got more reflective material on it, or one that said polite on it, I'm not going to grab the polite one. Now, I know you YouTube commenters are normally very civil, and you really do hold back, and I'm sure you would with this normally, but let's hear some opinions on this. Why, if you don't like people who use high-vis vests, don't get nasty, don't get personal, don't get ridiculous with this, just explain your reasons, your reasoning as to why you don't like people using them. And if you are a polite vest user and you watch this, and I imagine some of you are, don't be scared, it's just YouTube, people won't find you. Explain why you use a polite vest over a standard high-vis. You know, I know I've given my opinion in this, which is I think they kind of are trying to impersonate the police. I don't know if everyone's got that intention. Maybe people just don't really consider it. They're like, oh yes, you know, polite. But the thing that confuses me is, you know, I could run you over, and as long as I go, I'm terribly sorry. I am so sorry. I was still polite. I still broke your legs, crushed your spine, but I was polite. Equally, if you are someone who uses one, do you believe that they are trying to impersonate police in some way? Or is that something that's not true at all? Do you think there's something people have made up and have said about them that isn't actually the reality of it? Now, I will mention there's a few correlations which I've noticed very strongly with a polite vest, and that is that the rider, let's say 8 times out of 10 in my experience, that is just a guesstimate, but I'm going from memory, wears a white helmet, which the police are very well known for. Now, there's a reason the police use white helmets, and it's why it's advised you have a white helmet, because white helmets are very visible. Well, actually, you can also use neon yellow, neon orange, you can use all the different colours, but white is a colour which is suggested so you can be seen. So maybe these people who are using a high-vis are like, well, I'm just using a white helmet because, you know, it's the best thing to do, and I'm just using this high-vis so I'm more seen. So there are some people that might say, no, I'm just being seen better, that's all my intention is. Whereas another people will say, you're trying to look like a cop. Now, there's another side to this that I've noticed, and I can only go on from what I've seen, I may be wrong, but the people that do use... Kids. The people that do use polite vests don't tend to be riding sports bikes or scooters or things like that. Maybe scooters, I don't know. I'm not too sure. Maybe in London, you know more than me. I live in the sticks, man. I don't live in London. I don't see a lot of this stuff. I might not see a polite vest for weeks on end, but goddamn, I see them all over social media. While I'm just putting some fuel in my bike, I will mention these lovely people going down your screen right now, who are my patron supporters. You are helping fill my tank right now. It's only $1 a month. You get videos 3 days early. You get to PM me. You get to be part of the Q&As, which I only ask the questions through Patreon now. And you get to be part of the community over there and support my channel at the same time. As I say, it is only $1 a month. You can offer more than that. It's completely in your control. You can cancel at any time. Totally up to you. As I say, if you wear one of these vests, I know I've given my opinion on it, but I think I've been relatively polite about it. Pun unintended. I know you've heard far worse from other people. I mean, I've even seen like calls for violence and stuff towards these people. Like, that's just ridiculous. Oh, one final very thought. If you had a white car and you, like, I don't know, put some checkers on it, not blue and white, not blue and yellow, you know, with colours like that, but if you did it in, you know, like black and white, and you put polite down the side of it, what would the police think of that? Probably nothing. You'll probably be absolutely fine. So as I say, I'd love to hear your opinion on this in the comments. Don't go too savage on these people. I'd like it to be a discussion rather than, you know, just a lot of people having a go at a few people, because remember, they're going to be massively outnumbered if they're watching this video. Equally, they may not watch this video because they just don't care, or they've heard it all before. But I can't say I've ever seen a video from anyone that's tried to discuss the issue, try to understand the other side, rather than just basically calling them names. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting my channel. Subscribe to it if you're not, leave a like maybe a share. I don't want to start talking anything about like the road to 100k, but you'll notice that number down there is creeping ever so closer to 100k every day. It might just be possible. Spicy 110 after 9-10 years, it's probably going to be another year from now, might actually get to 100k. Who knows? Catch you next time. If you enjoyed this video and the other content on the channel, please consider following the links in the description to show your support.